I think that it's something tangible. Building something that you can touch and see and that has function, that has purpose, generate power. Knowing that it benefits the community, a town, it has a bigger purpose. And I feel like knowing that I'm going to be gone someday and that stuff's still going to be there for 25, 50, 100 years, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Dangers. Collapse of sites and cave-ins. Materials falling onto workers.
A lot of planning, a lot of engineering, and then a lot of hard work. I mean, some thousands, millions of hours of work. I mean, I think for some of the commercial scale solar stuff we're building, it's 2,000 and 3,000 hours of field time that's going into it. That's not including engineering time, procurement time, project management time, just the guys in the field. For, like, say, your average shopping mall, 500 kW system, it's about 2,000 or 3,000 man hours that go into building that. Typically, we'll get awarded the project, and we start looking at the long lead time procurement things, payment milestones, and kind of build it around there.
They tend to be the first people I talk to because that's where I cut my teeth here with Mint, was in the procurement division. And I really realized that if we don't have the solar panels, the inverters, the wire, the racking, all these components, it doesn't matter how talented our workforce is. If these things aren't there, they can't do anything. They're gonna be sitting around waiting for a truck. So every day we start with procurement.
Right now we've got almost 18,000 square feet of warehouse to keep up with the procurement and what we need. And I think our first warehouse was only 1,000 something square feet, and then 3,000, and then now, right now we have almost 18,000 square feet. So procurement at one point was up to 52 weeks, up to a year to get some of the stuff. So it's a lot of, a year's worth of procurement.
My entire focus every day is how do we keep our procurement team well informed? How do we keep our project management team ahead of what's happening today? Because it doesn't matter what happens today if we don't plan ahead to the next thing. Those project managers need to know what tomorrow, the end of the week, next week, the end of the month is like.
And then a month or two of engineering, going back to there, and then kickoff meetings, and then handing it over to the crew. And then my favorite is the night of the interconnection. It's usually in the middle of the night, and it's at midnight. You get one chance to do it. There's no hardware store open, and you get one shot at it. And if not, then you got to reschedule and do the whole thing a month later. To this date, we haven't failed one. They're killing the power, and hopefully alarms don't start going off, and hopefully everything's in test. You've got to work with all portable power. It's an expensive night. You have third-party people recertifying the switchgear. You have stores that are potentially losing inventory if you don't get them back going. They could have $100,000 in groceries or whatever it is. It may be a place that does, scientific experiments where you only get this and they won't give you another shot for like a year or a quarter until they're done with their next experiment. And then I think the most exciting thing is when you go to re-energize and then you see everything come back on and you realize that system's live. It's just all the hours of work from, a year ago, from procurement through permit through all that, you kind of just feel when the light goes on. It's just like this rush through you and you're like, we did it. And it's pretty cool. I don't know if it'll ever get old.
elevation.
Over the elevation.
A lot of room. Can we pull these trucks a little bit more?
Yeah, Augie.
Battery pack.
50 something short.
Yep.
And then we're gonna have to go a longer configuration for that.
Yeah.
I put 2 on, then those 2, and then the last
2. The built environment that we live in and that we take for granted is so fascinating. Watching how it comes together is so incredible. The concrete that's below us, the walls, the ceiling, everything here had so much thought and care go into it. And we all take it for granted. And it's fascinating.
You know, the type of voltage we're working on, there's no room for mistakes. Recently, I got to witness an arc flash incident in San Francisco, and even more so seeing that. And luckily, the guys were suited up and nobody was hurt, but it instilled some more respect in me. Just that you could lose your life. It's nothing to play with. You need to have people that know what they're doing, wearing the right gear. It's not for amateurs. Mateo and I, we are in fact responsible for making sure those people come home at night.
Construction is one of those industries where there are folks physically laboring, bruising their fingers and losing fingernails and all sorts of different, various small injuries that just happen because you're physically laboring. And then all of the folks in the office supporting these people, we don't get to move the needle on the project in the same way. We can't physically help you move something that'll bring you from 1% to 2%. But we can clear the path so that way your permits are approved, you're ready for inspection, all these various parties are able to come together. And at that point, you're relying on people. So when all of that stuff comes together and you're watching this swarm of different activities actually fall into place and seeing everything work just like that well-oiled machine, that's my favorite, is when everything comes together. That's a special moment.
When I first came here and I first heard it, people, planet, profit, all those, that whole triple bottom line, and that they can be tied together. It's kind of like, I don't know about that. You know, you've got to do stuff dirty to make money. You can't care about people to make money. I think you actually can. Because I think you attract a different crowd of people and investors even when they see that you're doing the right things for the right reasons. Because if you're not, I think people figure you out pretty quick.
In college, I had wrote to myself, someday I'm gonna work in renewable energy. And I remember in my first or second year here at Mint, wow, this is exactly what I've dreamed of doing.